Breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
Welcome. My name is Liz Roper, and I'm the Director of Religious Education Ministries here at Morristown Unitarian Fellowship. We're so happy that you've joined us today. Whether it's your first time or you've been with us many, many times, thank you for joining us for our Memorial Day service. If you are watching us live, you still have time to get in your talents for our talent show. It's this Friday on the 29th of May at 7 p.m., but get in your talents to me at dre@muuf.org by the 25th. All sorts of talents welcome: painting, dancing, singing, pulling funny faces, whatever you like, get it into me and we can all share our talents together. Whether you're watching us live or joining us in the future, welcome to our Memorial Day worship space.
We light this
This
chalice
chalice
because we are Unitarian Universalists.
We
We
are
are fellowship of the open mind, the loving heart, and the helping hands. Together we can bring peace and justice to the world.
I have a story for you today, When the Wind Stops, adapted from Charlotte Zolito. There was a little dog looking up at the sky where the sun had shone brightly all day and was starting to go down. She could see dusty pink, orange, and then deep purples. She was sad to see the day end. It had been such a great day. She'd spent time playing with her friend in the yard, sipping icy cold drinks, and her mother had even read her part of a storybook on the porch before bed. When she got into bed and her mother was tucking her in, she asked, "Mom, why does the day have to end?" Her mum said, "So night can begin. The day doesn't really end. It starts somewhere else, so night can begin here. Look out the window, you can see the moon and the stars coming. The darkness is here to help you dream." "But where does the sun go when the day ends?" the dog asked. "I said it doesn't really end. The sun goes to start a new day and a new sunrise somewhere else. Nothing really ends." "Nothing ends?" asked the dog. "That's right, nothing really ends," said the mum. "It just changes starts anew somewhere else or on another day? The dog thought about this and asked, well, what about when the wind stops? Well, the wind just moves to play and dance around in another tree's branches. Well, where does the dandelion fluff go when you blow it and end the puff? Well, it blows onto someone else's lawn to start new dandelion puffballs. Well, what about when you get to the top of the mountain and it ends? It doesn't end. It goes down and becomes the valley next to it. What about the waves as they break onto the shoreline? Well, they don't end there. They get sucked back in to become new waves in the water. What about when the rain stops? It becomes new clouds to become new storms and rain elsewhere. But the clouds that move off into the sky, where do they go? They go to rain somewhere else. What about the leaves that fall from the trees? They become new leaves as they go into the earth and become new trees. But when they stop falling, that's the end of something. That's the end of autumn, said the dog. Yes, said her mother, but what comes after fall? Oh, it's the beginning of winter. That's right. The dog began to smile. It's the beginning of winter, and then when winter melts away, spring begins, and then summer blooms, and then it's fall again, his mother replied. You're right. Nothing ever ends. It just starts again on a different day or in a different place or in a different way. That's right, my love, said her mother. Now, the dark is here. I need to get you tucked back into bed so that when the night ends here and begins somewhere else, that the new sunrise will wake you up fresh as a daisy.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Be with me, be with me, be with me, oh my soul. Be with me, be with me, be with me, oh my soul. Hope with me, hope with me, hope with me, oh my soul. hope with me, hope with me, hope with me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
Let us open our hearts to be present to the significant milestones of our community. We begin with a memorial candle for beloved member Lillian Fogel, who passed away at the age of 83. She was Stephen Fogel's wife for 61 years, James and Martin's mother, and also a grandmother of 3 and a great-grandmother of 2. Steve and Lillian joined our fellowship almost 57 years ago. Lillian stayed at home to raise her boys. Later in life, she worked as a home health aide, assisting sick and dying patients. She was a volunteer for the Cross Estate Gardens in Bernardsville. Lillian was generous and compassionate, offering hospitality to many. She was one of the first organizers of coffee hour in our fellowship's history. Stories are also shared of her kindness to animals, including a baby squirrel who she rescued and raised to maturity. May Lillian's legacy of love burn brightly in the hearts of all who miss her now. Second, we light 3 candles, one to remember all those who sacrificed their lives to serve our country. One to acknowledge the losses suffered on the other side. And one to name our sadness that civilians have also paid the price of war with their lives. Memorial Day weekend is a time to mourn and to remember. Third, we come here today with an ache in our hearts at the incredible suffering, at the loss of life from the pandemic. We will light 40 candles, each signifying 2,500 deaths in our country from COVID-19. 100,000 precious lives now gone from the earth. May their legacies be shared and their loved ones held in the compassionate embrace of family and community.
We Remember Them, adapted from Roland B. Gittleson. In the rising of the sun and its going down, we remember them.
In the blowing of the wind and the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them.
In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling of leaves and the beauty of autumn, we remember them.
In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are all weary and in need of strength, we remember them.
When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys and yearn to share, we remember them.
So long as we live, They too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them.
Hello, I'm Shari Lowe, the president of the Board of Trustees of this wonderful fellowship. And did you know that it is annual budget drive time? We have been moving forward together. That's our theme for this year since April 26th at the launch of our drive. And this Wednesday, the board is going to look at the results and set a final budget for the congregation to approve. The good news is we are about 80% there, even though we have lost rental income, and so we've had to cut about $30,000, but we still had to keep our budget target for the pledge number the same. You guys are stepping up like I knew you would, but it's crunch time. Candace Donaldson, our fearless leader on the drive, has made over 200 phone calls. She's left messages for you. Please check them. Be generous. Remember your fellowship home. Welcome to us if you're new. And if more of you pledge, we can restore some of those cuts that we made. So please be generous. And now, please also be generous as we take our morning offering, which will be split 50% between our fellowship and the Poor People's Campaign. Thank you.
Come to me as a bird. I will know it's you as you hover above the life we once knew. Though I can't hold you now, I remain undeterred, and I'll know you if you come to me as a bird. Come to me as a bird, dancing in the trees, while the last leaves of summer cast themselves to the breeze. Now the season has changed. Now the memory is blurred, but I'll know you if you come to me as a bird. Come to me as a bird. Come to me as a bird. I will know you if you come to me as a bird. Singing in my garden, winging through the rain, I can tell you're out there, staring through my pain. Come to me as a bird, keeper of the sky. How I long to go with you when I see you fly. Once I gave you my heart, now I give you my word that I'll know you if you come to me as a bird. Come to me as a bird. Come to me as a bird. I will know you if you come to me as a bird. Come to me as a bird. Come to me as a bird. I will know you if you come to me as a bird. Come to me as a bird.
Although the legend behind taps, the melody sounded by the bugle at military funerals, is most likely untrue, the story continues to be passed on as it illustrates our yearning to count the human toll of war. In 1862, during the Civil War, Union Army Captain Robert Ellicombe was with his men near Harrison's Landing in Virginia. The Confederate Army was on the other side of the narrow strip of land. During the night, Captain Ellicombe heard the moans of a soldier who lay severely wounded on the field. Not knowing if it was a Union or a Confederate soldier, the captain decided to risk his life and to bring the stricken man back for medical attention. Crawling on his stomach through gunfire, the captain reached the soldier and began pulling him towards his encampment. When the captain finally reached his own lines, he discovered that it was a Confederate soldier, and the soldier was now dead. The captain lit a lantern, caught his breath, and went numb with shock. In the dim light, he saw the face of the soldier. It was his son. The boy had been studying music in the South when the war broke out. Without telling his father, he had enlisted in the Confederate Army. The following morning, heartbroken, the father asked permission of his superiors to give his son a full military burial, despite his enemy status. His request was partially granted. The captain had asked if he could have a group of Army band members play a funeral dirge for his son. That request was turned down since the soldier was a Confederate. But out of respect for the father, they did say that they could give him one musician. The captain chose a bugler. He asked the bugler to play a series of musical notes that he had found on a piece of paper in the pocket of the dead youth's uniform. This wish was granted. I have paid close attention to the language that is being used in this time of a pandemic. Many health caregivers, especially in hotspots, have described what they have witnessed with metaphors of war. I know a lot of people are uncomfortable with conflating war and pandemic, and I agree. However, having had pastoral sessions with veterans over the years, I understand where it is coming from. First, we cannot see the coronavirus, and it packs deadly force. Stories of war often include episodes of hiding and isolation and efforts to contain danger. Second, COVID-19 has taken an enormous toll on human life. It is war that we most closely associate with such high casualties. Third, families that pay a disproportionate price in war, both civilians and military members, are often those on the margins of society. We are hearing that it is disproportionately the poor, the elderly, the imprisoned, the disabled, people of color, and indigenous people around the world who are contracting COVID and dying at the highest rates. Fourth, veterans and active duty service people are both sick and very much on the front lines of this pandemic. You may have read the painful story about the long-term care facility for vets and their spouses in Bergen County, where the death toll is so high that someone suggested they just tear it down and put up a memorial park. One of our participants in today's worship is active duty in the Army National Guard, and he has been called in to navigate saving as many lives as possible in situations that are extremely difficult and where help should have been called much sooner. Fifth, during wars, people are traumatized by the mounting toll on life, by the callous directives and consequences of some political leaders, and by the fact that there is little time to mourn the losses when we have to quickly move on to the next thing, or when we don't have access to the fullness of our rituals and traditions. Communities like ours exist in part to support people through the grieving process, including navigating spiritually the changes which follow loss. The holiday of Memorial Day also exists to remind people to slow down, to take time to remember, to celebrate lives, and to mourn our country's losses, to acknowledge the losses of the soldiers on the other side and the civilians caught in the middle. In a pandemic, we find ourselves in a situation that touches on some of the truths in that fictional story about TAPS. We know it means something devastating when we stare death in the face, even before death touches our own family. We know that those gone were someone's baby once, maybe someone's parent or grandparent, someone's beloved. We are all wrestling with accumulated grief between the quick change of all that was familiar and the losses rippling close to our home and far from it. Some are coping with accumulated trauma as yet again they experience what it is like to be cast to the far edges of concern or beyond the concern of those who wield power. Some are coping with trauma as they find themselves dealing with the consequences of inadequate tools to save the lives they wish they could save. It is into this context that families and friends around the globe must figure out how to best say goodbye, how to mourn, and how to celebrate the meaning of the days that added up to the life of their beloved. While none of us has complete answers at this point, here are some glimpses of what I am learning now and have also learned from you and countless mentors over the years. Grief and joy, they are as old as humanity. Bring time-tested teachings to your mind as you navigate grief. One example are the 5 stages of grief captured so well by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Denial. This isn't happening to me. Anger. Why is this happening to me? Bargaining. I promise I'll be a better person if. Depression. I don't care anymore. Acceptance. I'm ready for whatever comes. The self-reflective question, what stage of grief am I in, can help you be in touch with what might be a pathway of healing. Pushing away the reality of grief never works for long. Look to time-tested rituals and hold them more loosely in this period of upheaval. While large in-person funerals and memorials are not possible right now, we are in the process of discovering new ways to accomplish what happens in those gatherings. Sharing the burden of our grief and the stories of our beloveds is still important. Reaching out with caring compassion to let someone know they are not alone in holding their grief is still so important. Affirming that although our dead are gone, their love lives on and impacts us eternally is still very important. A pandemic, like war, reminds us that we are oh so mortal. None of us knows when exactly our life will end, but we know that it won't last forever. Yet in some spaces, to speak of death, the most natural of events, is discouraged or even taboo. What I can tell you, as one whose job it is to hold space for the dual reality of birth and death, is that when you have the courage to imagine and begin to name what you hope for when your time comes, whether because of old age or like an unexpected thief in the night, the people that you love, they will receive a gift. They will know from you some of the specifics about how you wish to be honored. Now, don't be overly prescriptive and leave room for them to name what they need to grieve your loss as well. What I have witnessed is that when people take the time to shape the kind of end they hope for and the way that they wish to be remembered, maybe the most important thing that happens is that they also shape the remaining days that they have left. Those remaining days, whether thousands, hundreds, or only several, are so precious. The good news, as I shared with one person this week who is beginning to plan what she would like included in her memorial service, and some stories that she hopes will be shared, is that in all my years of ministry, accepting that death will happen and planning forward for that memorial has never brought death closer. I remember fondly my meetings with a woman who thought that she didn't have much time left. We met together for 10 years. So let the truths of Memorial Day in a pandemic do their work on your heart. May they invite you to feel your grief in this incredible, heartbreaking season of loss. Honor what is being lost, and allow those losses to hone your own hold on living a life that proves worth dying for. Amen. Blessed be, and may it be so.
A cleansing rage wipes away my fear. A cleansing rage uproots all hesitation. A cleansing rage burns deep in my soul. May this rage make us one, make us whole. A sacred rage calls out falsehood and greed. A sacred rage fuels the fires of justice. A sacred rage burns deep in my soul. May this rage make us one, make us whole. tearful rage lets its truth be known. A tearful rage believes what is spoken. A tearful rage burns deep in my soul. May these tears make us one, make us whole. A loving rage restores our hope. A loving rage strengthens bonds of resilience. A loving rage burns deep in my soul. May this love make us one, make us whole. May this love make us one, make us whole. May this love make us one, make us whole.
Our closing words are by Leonard Pitts, Jr. You see, the thing is, we write our own eulogies. Someone else delivers it, yes, but each of us authors his own in the life he lives and the memories he leaves. So go forth into the day that is ours to claim and bless the world every minute you can with your love.